Captain, the idea of this video chat is just to share, give us a perspective of the existence and our involvement in the Indian Ocean Memorandum of Understanding grouping, which I believe is now 20 years old. You are the main representative of South Africa at this organization. Just give us an overview of what it is about and how it contributes to South Africa's maritime interests.
Thank you. SAMSA is one of the member states of the Indian Ocean MOU, which, as you said, you correctly pointed out that we're finishing the 20 years as the MOU. And the most important part is to associate ourselves is to keep the mandate of safety and protection of environment and to harmonize the port state control regime within the Indian Ocean MOU.
It's one of two, as I understand it. We are also involved with the Abuja one. How do we find balance between these organizations?
As a signatory to both, we signed the MOU on both the west and the east, which is on the Abuja side, which is the western side of South Africa, the eastern side, which falls on the Indian Ocean, which becomes the Indian Ocean MOU. We find balance in the sense that the whole purpose of the MOU is to make sure that we harmonize, even between the MOUs, that they are harmonized in the way that they were doing things, in the instruments that they do apply, because they all come from the mother body, which is the IMO, which we are member of.
Now, as I understand it, there are as many as 12 conventions and other protocols that inform the process and system of port state control. Now, South Africa is a signatory to quite a few of those. What is the expectation in terms of the contribution that we may make to these MOUs?
The expectation is to eliminate, which is that the main priority is to eliminate substandard ships on our coastline, coming into our ports to actually conduct this port state control visit or inspections. Over and above that, we are governed by the new inspection regime that we're trying to adopt on the Indian Ocean MOU. And most importantly, is the instruments that form part of the memorandum of each MOU, that we are informed by the instruments that we adopt, we are informed by the instruments that member states are signatories to. Then once you are a signatory on one convention, which is whichever, then you are needed to have, or you ought to have a regulation or something that formalizes, which is a local regulation, which applies when you enforce your local regulation in those ships, taking it from the international community.
One of the issues to come out very strongly in the past few days has been the issue of training and capacity among the countries that form the IOMOU. Where is South Africa in that? Are we experiencing capacity issues given the number of ports that we have, or are we just fine?
Most definitely, the capacity issue or the capacity challenge, it is a challenge to South Africa as well. Because if you remember, PSCOs, which is Port State Control Officers that we have, they also flag state officers. So they're doing dual duties. They've got to fulfill the duty of this administration to carry out administrative duties. And they're doing the duties of carrying out the PSCO duties, which is from the perspective of the MOUs. Now, you've got single person, if I put it that way, that's wearing double hats. Now, it become a necessity or a priority that you fulfill your state duties, which are your administration duties, in a sense, prior to going and applying other duties. Now, when you have such individuals performing double duties, then there definitely there is a lack of, or there is a need to sort of go the route of if I would call it, of specializing. Then once you specialized, then definitely it would be a call to actually have capacity or capacitate the port state control side, or vice versa, depending on which side the surveyors or the port state control officers will go on the division of specialization, taking from the actual job that we're currently doing in South Africa.
Now, for 5 days, the IOMOU Port State Control Committee is sitting in South Africa in terms of its annual meeting, but also to mark the 20th anniversary of the establishment of this organization, and about which South Africa has been since inception back in 1997, 1998. Can you give an overview of what the issues are over the 5 days that this committee is sitting? What are the main issues that you're looking at?
The main issues that we're looking at, obviously we have grown, and the technology has taken over. And one of the issues that is actually at the tongue, or the debatable issue, is the route of NIR, which is New Inspection Regime. It's how you actually segregate or you target which ships should you give priority to which ones, in terms of there must be a way that you've got that data, and that data should be able to tell you, once you input or you interrogate one vessel which is out there, then it can tell you that that vessel is at high risk, or it's low, or just, but in terms of priority, you can be able to know which vessel to target. Now, that's one of the issues that we're dealing with. And secondly, the issue of capacity, it comes up now and again, because as an MOU, there's a technical cooperation fund that is set to actually support training and developing PSCOs of different member states. There's criteria of using the TSC fund. Over and above that, there are countries that are suffering from lack of PSCOs, and even including South Africa has a challenge of PSCOs in actually meeting the numbers that's required in terms of inspections.
What is the plan? How are you going to resolve that aspect? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
The plan is, I think one of the things that you do as a member is to put up your hand, and we welcome the fact that the member states of the MOU were quite delighted and happy to give South Africa an opportunity to host the 20th. As you put it out there, and you say to South Africa was instrumental in putting together the MOU. So coming back to South Africa and celebrating the 20th anniversary, it means something. It means to showcase or to bring about problems that we have, and not coming from only from the sole representative or the representative from South Africa, but being heard over a different a team of different member states to say this is the challenge and these are the challenges perhaps, and we need to catch up. And perhaps South Africa and the leadership would put that on spotlight and come up with a plan of resolving the PSC shortage.
This question is my last one. It's my favorite. The fourth industrial revolution, to what extent is it going to impact what organizations of this nature do? Will your work be less, more intense, or will you need to do twice as much as you are doing now?
It's in twofold. It will lessen the burden of, take it for instance, capturing instead of the olden days on how you would capture. And it would lessen the burden of actually physically going on board. You might be looking at what's out there or in your port or what's coming, then you might categorize it where you stand in terms of inspection. But then again, it will come with challenges because as things, as we evolve, some of the things, the challenge is you keep on catching up with technology. Now, as much as you would have technology to deal with something, but they would have technology, the ships themselves, with their other upgrades in terms of, you look at Annex 6, there's other challenges that come with Annex 6, and which is we need to keep up with them. So as much as life goes on and becoming lighter, the jobs of PSCOs, so there are other challenges that are coming into the port state regime space.
So it's going to be fun.
It's gonna be good.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.